You know what? As much fun as it is to have to swap the ball out every time you want to switch to different size couplers, there has to be a better solution. Actually, I have the perfect solution. Okay, so we have about 900 pounds resting on the ball. And we have a trailer completely loaded to the gills. Have it compacted with the excavator so we can actually get the tarp on top of it. We're gonna take off. All hitched up, chained up, breakaway in place. Jack leg lifted, we're ready to go. So we have the airbags completely dumped or empty in the back, and you can kind of see how 900 pounds worth of payload capacity doesn't really impact the suspension much on my truck. It brings it down maybe like a ½ an inch, but not very much, versus that of a lot of trucks at 900 pounds would make them squat a lot. And this has nothing to do with Ford. This is more or less having a truck with the right payload capacity to do what you need it to do. And again, we have about 900 pounds currently resting on the ball back there. But we're about to take off. We got it all tarped up. Everything's connected. We're gonna head to the dump. What's going on, guys? So I'm out here at the trailers and I have an interesting project that I'm not gonna be able to do today. Actually, I'm probably not gonna be able to do it at all, but I'm gonna have my neighbor attempt to do this, the welding professional, and I always pay him for his work, so I'm never asking him for free stuff because he works hard and he's skilled at what he does, so he deserves to get compensated well for it. That said, we got all of our trailers out here, and what do these two trailers and this trailer have in common that this one does not? And it doesn't make it difficult, just makes it a bit more inconvenient when you want to hitch and go and get taken off to wherever you need to go with these trailers. Well, actually I need to take some of that back because this trailer doesn't have it in common either, because this is a gooseneck. So that trailer, this one here, and my dump trailer way over there all have 2 5/16 inch couplers. That's this piece right here. And this cargo mate trailer has a 2-inch coupler. So anytime I want to hitch up to this, if I'm using my WaySafe hitch, I have to remove the assembly at the end, change the ball out, and put it back in place. If I'm using my B&W hitch, I simply rotate it over to the 2-inch ball, which makes things really nice and convenient. But, you know, I'd really like to just make them all so they're universal. So if I, just want to keep the 2 5/16 inch ball on the back of my hitch, I don't have to make any adjustments regardless of the trailer. So when I was in St. Louis visiting the folks over at eTrailer for their Tow Week event, basically where they have all their different vendors that come out and showcase really new products and train the eTrailer staff on, what they're going to be talking to their neighbors or their customers about, I saw a very innovative product that they carry, and it's been out for a while, that I felt would be a really good upgrade to this cargo mate trailer. So not only am I going to upgrade this coupler to a 2 5/16 inch coupler, but I'm going to remove this annoying little latch right here that trailers all seem to have. And at first on the surface it's pretty simple to have a coupler or a latch here where you lift this up, you put the ball down, latch it on top. But because of this design, countless people have highballed their ball. Basically, they've accidentally had this in the down position locked, or it never coupled properly and it doesn't actually rest completely over the ball, and it makes for a very dangerous towing situation, because if you hit a bump, it'll then come off and it'll be dragging your trailer down the road, assuming you hooked up your chains correctly. So we'll be replacing this, or at least I'm going to contact my neighbor to see if he's up for the task of replacing this, which would actually be a relatively complex task, because you'd have to cut all these welds around the outside, and I believe they may have even welded it on the under, and I believe it may even be welded on the underside here, but this has to be cut off and removed. Not the A-frame, but this piece right here, this coupler attachment. And we're going to replace it with this. So this is the Curt QuickPin A-frame coupler. Basically, it'll mount in the place of this one right here. It'll be welded on. I suppose I could probably bolt it on if I really wanted to, but there's only 2 holes right here, and it's not necessarily set up for that. So we're going to weld this thing on. But look how it's set up. So instead of having a traditional coupler lock right here, or latch, you have this pin that slides through. So you just take this off, lower it over your 2 5/16 inch ball, pin it in place, and then put your safety pin here at the end, and you're good to go. And some folks are going to say, well, you know, this step right here is something that they don't want to have to do. Well, you have to do it anyways. You have to put a pin through your latch right there if you're going to put it on your trailer, basically where this lock is. And you kind of avoid that step with this one. So you'll pin it into place right here. The only thing that I can see that might be a challenge for some folks would be the lock, but you could actually get a lock, a padlock, and put it over here because the hole in the end of that pin is actually rather large in diameter. So yeah, you could easily secure this over your trailer, and you could even lock it into place, and you can even buy a lockable pin that can slide through here to replace this pin if you want. But the simplicity of this design just blew me away, because it's like, why do we even have couplers like that, or locks and latches like that, when this design is so much simpler? It's probably more reliable. It gives you that positive connection every time. As long as this pin is out, you drop it down in place, you know that you're going to be resting over the ball. No more trying to herky-jerk your trailer around to get it to rest properly over the ball. You don't have to worry about all of that stuff rusting and starting to fail on you. It's just a better solution for a problem that really was made a problem because of how it was invented. This right here is so simple, right? You rest it over the ball, you drop the pin in, and you're good to go. I can't imagine that this is going to be very difficult to install for a professional welder, but at the same time, you know, I do need to realize that this is welded on. You know, the old coupler is welded into place, so we need to make sure we do this correctly so we still maintain the right amount of strength whenever we replace it with this. So I'm going to be contacting my neighbor to actually install this. I think it's going to be a really, really great upgrade for this trailer, and it's one I'm really excited to do. And, you know, just from a convenience standpoint of backing up to it and hitching up to it, not having to worry about switching the ball out, which ball do I have in place, it also alleviates that potential risk that, you know, when you're tired and exhausted and you want to hitch up, that maybe I didn't switch my ball correctly to the 2 5/16 inch ball and it's still on the 2-inch ball. You know, I made a video talking about that a while back. You know, be careful not to highball your trailer. And so many people came on and they said, yeah, I accidentally had a 2-inch ball in place because I used it for a small trailer like this. Then when I hitched up to my 2 5/16 inch ball and I went down the road, I didn't realize I had done that, hit a big bump, it hopped off of the ball and, you know, potentially drug itself down the road. And if you don't have your chains hooked up, you'll lose your trailer. So you got to make sure you put every safety piece of equipment into practice whenever you're hauling a trailer. But yeah, going to a universal ball size for all of my trailers is definitely going to make the setup process a little easier, the safety factor, safety margin a little easier, and the risk of accidentally having the wrong ball set up whenever you're coupling up to your trailer reduced significantly. So very, very cool product. Folks over at eTrailer sell this. If you go to eTrailer, type in 25474, you'll probably be directed straight to this. You'll probably have to make sure that you have a means of actually replacing the current A-frame coupler on your trailer. Again, this one's welded on, so we'll have to figure this out. And this might actually sit a little further back because the actual size of the A-frame is going to matter when it comes to actually using this with it. So we're going to have to make sure that we get this to work properly with this setup, and then of course we'll have to move my Phoenix 5500 Ultra Fab jack into this one whenever we're done. But yeah, this is going to be a cool project whenever we decide to tackle it. Very, very innovative. This is probably one of my favorite basic innovations that I saw at that event. So we'll put a link in the description of this if this is an upgrade you might consider doing on your trailer. Again, guys, if you haven't had a chance, please take a moment, subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up, and we'll talk to you again very soon.